A good day to everyone. I'm Angeline J.G. Esparas from BSNED 2A.
Hi, my name is Chan Aguilares from BSNED 2A.
Hello everyone, I'm Shara K. Harabese.
Good day everyone, I'm Christine K. Dominguez from BSNet 2A and we are the Group 1. So for today, we are going to talk about Rizal's family background. The Rizal's family was a wealthy family in Calamba, Laguna and considered one of the largest family in those times. The Jose Rizal family's paternal ascendant was Domingo Lomco, a full-blooded Chinese who lived in Amoy, China, and arrived in the Philippines in the closing years of the 17th century. Domingo Lomco was married to a Chinese half-breed named Ines de la Rosa. The Mercado Rizal family had also Japanese, Spanish, Malay, and Negrito blood aside from their Chinese blood. The ancestral house of Jose Rizal in Calamba, Laguna was totally rebuilt in 1954 by the Philippine government with the assistance of contributions from school children. So architect Juan Nakpil based the construction of the new house on oral tradition and remains of the original foundation unearthed. Only a single photograph showing the original structure remained. According to tradition, it took 2 years for Don Francisco Mercado to build the first bahay na bato in Calamba. So, typical style of the times, the ground floor was of lime and stone. Its upper story was of the best hardwood, of which Don Francisco personally supervised the cutting of the nara and molave logs he selected from the forest of Makili. Its roof was of red tile. The 13th member of Rizal's family consisted of his father, Francisco Mercado II, and his mother, Teodora Alonso Rialonda. Jose Rizal had 9 sisters and 1 brother.
So Francisco Mercado y Chino, known as the father of Jose Rizal, he came from the Chinese Filipino descent and a youngest of the 13 offsprings of Juan and Cirila Mercado. He was born in Binyan, Laguna on April 18, 1818, and he moved to Calamba after his parents' death. He became a tenant farmer of the Dominican-owned hacienda. Francisco was an independent and a hard-working man of few words. He died in Manila on January 5, 1858 at the age of 80 years old. Rizal called his father a model of fathers. So Teodora Alonso, she was known also as the mother of Jose Rizal, the second child of Lorenzo Alonso and Brigida de Quintos. She was born in Manila on November 8, 1826, and she went to school at the College of Santa Rosa. She was a remarkable woman. She possessed refined culture, literary talent, a business ability, and a fortitude Spartan woman. By the age of 64 years old, she was also almost blind, but the Spaniards didn't mind and they forced her to walk 90 kilometers from Manila to Santa Cruz, Laguna. She endured the cruelty without complaint and protest. When she arrived at the court of the Santa Cruz, Laguna, she was so exhausted. At the very young age, she displayed a very inclination towards arts, literature, and music. And also at the very young age, she taught her children how to read and taught them how to possess discipline, justice, and passion. So Teodora Alonso was imprisoned. Teodora and her brother Alberto was tagged in poisoning the latter's wife, but many people know the main reason is Francisco Francisco talked back to the Spanish lieutenant. Shortly before her death, the Philippine government offered her a life pension, but she courteously rejected it by saying my family has never been patriotic for money. If the government has plenty of money and doesn't know what to do with them, better reduce taxes. So let us move on to Saturnina Mercado with her full name, Saturnina Mercado D. Hidalgo, the eldest child of the Rizal and Alonso marriage, and also a very caring ate of Jose Rizal. Her nickname was Neneng, and born on June 4, 1850 at Calamba. She had 5 children by his husband, Manuel D. Hidalgo of Tanawan, Batangas. She died on September 14, 1913. So, Pasiano Mercado, the only brother and confidant of Jose Rizal. He was born on March 9, 1850 in Calamba, the second child of the Rizal and Alonso marriage. Studied at San Jose College in Manila. Pasiano was a huge influence to Rizal's life. He also sends money to Spain and update Rizal about the friars' abuses in the Philippines through letters. Pasiano also helped his parents in choosing Rizal's tutors, and later on became Rizal's guardian. He became a farmer like his father. It was his decision in sending Jose Rizal to continue his studies in Spain. After his younger brother execution, he joined the Philippine Revolution and became a combat general. And after his revolution, he retired to his farm in Los Baños where he lived. He had 2 children with his mistress, Severina de Sena, and he died on April 13, 1930 at Los Baños.
Let's talk about the third child, Narcisa, also known as Sisa. So, Narcisa, like Saturnina, contributed to Rizal's education in Europe by pawning her jewelry and selling her clothes if needed. It is said she could recite from memory almost all of the poems of the national hero. Among the siblings, Narcisa was the most hospitable. When Don Francisco and Doña Teodora were driven out of their house in Calamba, Narcisa took them in her house. When the rest of Rizal's family suspected that Rizal's girlfriend was a spy for the Spanish friars, Josephine Bracken stayed with Narcisa. Josephine Bracken was Rizal's girlfriend that time. At August 1896, while imprisoned aboard the cruiser Castilla off the coast of Cavite, Rizal wrote a letter to Narcisa thanking her for allowing Josephine to stay in her home. So, Narcisa was also the one who carefully looked for the location where the government had secretly buried Rizal. She discovered newly turned ground at the Pacos Cemetery where a body had been buried without any sort of box or identification. She wittingly made a gift to the caretaker to mark the site RPG or Rizal's initial in reverse. Years later, Narcisa and her other siblings dug up the hero's remains at the spot. So Sisa married Antonio Lopez, a teacher and musician from Morong, Rizal. So for letting the Rizal parents live in their house, Lopez became the target of Spanish persecution. His house was demolished and his unsecured things were confiscated, and he was threatened with deportation. Antonio and Narcisa had 8 children. Their son, Antonio, married Emiliana Rizal, which is Pasiano Rizal's daughter with Severina de Sena, who was his first cousin. And Angelica, Narcissa's daughter, joined the Katipunan after her uncle was martyred. She had visited Rizal in Dapitan. In an interview by Ambet Ocampo, Narcissa's grandchildren revealed that their lolo, Antonio Lopez, was actually the son of the priest Leoncio Lopez, the cura parroco of Calamba, from whom Rizal based the character of Father Florentino in his El Filibusterismo. They revealed that following their marriage, Narcissa and Antonio resided in Leoncio's parish house, and Antonio inherited all of Leoncio's books and belongings when the priest died. The fourth child is Olympia Mercado. Ipia was her pet name. She married Silvestre Ubaldo, a telegraph operator from Manila. She died in 1887 from childbirth. Jose loved to tease her, sometimes good-humoredly describing her as his stout sister. Olympia's schoolmate at La Concordia College was Jose's first love, Segunda Katigba. Rizal confided to Olympia about Segunda, and the sister willingly served as the mediator between the two teenage lovers. Olympia wrote Jose about Saturnina's birth and the cholera pandemic in Bulacan and Laguna while in Bulacan in October 1882. She requested Rizal to come home as quickly as possible, possibly because she missed her brother. Unfortunately, Olympia died of a hemorrhage while giving birth in September of the same year, spoiling Rizal's return. And the next one is Lucia Mercado, the fifth child. She was married to Mariano Herbosa, nephew of Father Casañas, a witness of Jose Rizal's baptism. Together, they had 8 children, namely Paz, Delfina, Concepcion, Virginia, Jose, Teodosio, Patrocinio, and Estanislao. Herbosa died of cholera in 1889 and was denied a Christian burial because Dr. Jose Rizal was his brother-in-law. Lucia was widowed young but did not remarry. She died on December 25, 1919 at the age of 62.
Maria was the sixth child in the family. She married Daniel Faustino Cruz of Binyan, Laguna. Maria married Graciano Orziga in the month day of 1999 at the age of 20 marriage place. They had one daughter, Esperanza Rizal Solpico.
Jose Rizal. His full name is Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Rialonda, and his nickname was Pepe. Rizal was born on June 19, 1861 in Calamba Town, province of Laguna, 54 kilometers south of Manila, to Francisco Engracio Rizal Mercado y Alejandro and Teodora Morales Alonso Rialonda di Rizal y Quentos. He was the second son and the seventh child of the Rizal's family. He was a patriot, physician, and a novelist who inspired the Philippine nationalist movement. While in Europe, Rizal committed himself to the reform of Spanish rule in his home country through peaceful means. He was a passionate writer and published his first novel named Noli Me Tangere, or The Social Cancer, in 1887 in Berlin. Noli highlighted the evils of Spanish rule in his homeland. A sequel, El Filibusterismo, in 1891, or The Reign of Greed, established his reputation as the leading spokesman of the Philippine reform movement. At the age of 35, Rizal was executed on December 30, 1896 in Bagong Bayan. Now it is the Rizal Park in Luneta, Manila. Concepcion Mercado, 1862 to 1865. The eighth among the Rizal's children, died at the age of 3 due to an illness. Her nickname was Cocha. As an older brother, Jose, who was 4 at that time in 1865, grieved so bitterly. He recalled having cried so loud for the first time due to love and sorrow for the loss. According to him, "Till then I had shed tears only for my own faults, which my loving, prudent mother will knew how to correct. Josefa Mercado, 1865 to 1945. Josefa Rizal or Pangoy, sister to the country's national hero and the 9 children in Mercado Rizal's family. She is probably the first handicapped individual to join the ranks of the revolution. Diagnosed with epilepsy at a young age, seizures had become the characteristics of Josefa. Because of the lack of medicinal advances at that time, she was never accurately treated. She breaks both stereotypes of women and handicap and was elected as the president of the Katipunan's women chapter. She died in 1945 at the age of 80. Due to her illness, she never got married and died as a spinster.
Trinidad Rizal, or Tiring, was the 10th child of the custodian of Rizal's greatest book. In March 1886, Jose wrote Tiring describing how the German women were serious in studying. He just advised her, "Now that you are still that you have time to learn, it is necessary that you study to be reading attentively. Perhaps, sensing that studying is not really that thing, Jose continued to speak that you allow yourself to be dominated, laziness and the thickness of effort to take issue. It is enough for me to have it." The later 4 years later, Tering was surprised by the writing, "Dear his brother, I left college 2 years and 1 month and a half ago." In August 1893, Trinidad, along with their mother, joined the reason in Casa Caldra, a square house. It is said that Trinidad has the once placed Rizal's escape from his exile. In January 1896, Jose invited him to return the Pitan and the difficulty who are going to marry her. Not only is that almost one. Trining once wrote, "Jose, I have read your letter to our brother Pachino with your ask how I'm getting along with Senora Pangoy. Thank God we are getting along and we live together peacefully." Never married, Trinidad Josefa died dead right before Jose's execution, and their mother visited him in the Fort Santiago prison cell. As they were leaving, Jose handed over Trining cooking stove and from the federal flowers and whispering that guardians do not understand. There is something in it, something was Rizal allergy known as a multi-amol adjust. And Trinidad joined the Katipunan after Rizal's death. In 1883, Trinidad was the 5 months April, August, being sick with intermittent fever, that kind which rises and falls and returns occurring disease, such as malaria, Antonili. However, she was the last of the family to die. Trinidad Mercado Rizal was born in 1870 in Calamba, Laguna, Philippines. Her father, Francisco Mercado Rizal, was 52 and her mother, Doña Chodora Alonso Yolanda, was 44. Pantalon Reyes Quintero in Calamba, Laguna. They were parents of at least 4 sons and 2 daughters. She died on 26 August 19 in San Roque de Marinas, Cavite, at the age of 59. Soledad Rizal, also called Choleng. Soledad was the youngest a child Rizal family and the teacher. She was arguably the best educated among Rizal's sisters. In his long Matthew letter to Choleng, that June 16, 1880, Rizal told her was both of her teacher. His dad considered her to model for the who teach should be better than persons who need her learning. Rizal nonetheless used the topic as leverage and somehow rebuking his sister for getting married to Pantalon Quintero of Calamba without their parents, and because of that, he wrote, "The peace of the family has been disturbed." With some timeless lesson in ethics, good manners can be learned from the letter. For instance, it revealed that Jose was very much against women who allowed themselves guarding outside their homes. He said, "Charlie, if you had sweetheart to behave towards it nobly and with the dignity, instead of resorting to secret meetings and conversation which do not lower a woman in the eyes of man, you should value more system and more honor esteem of value."